my loves. Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Complete Woman Podcast, a show for women who have become overshadowed by all the titles they possess. I am your host, Coach Toya Kite, relationship and life coach. Join me and others as we take a look into the real, raw, and uncut reality of being a woman. Superwoman, get ready to take off your cape.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my loves. This is the Complete Woman Podcast. Thank you for joining me for season 2 of the Complete Woman Podcast. Yes, we are back and we are back better than ever. And so today I just wanted to start off with having a discussion with one of my dear friends that is joining me. We have been friends since we were little girls. Like we grew up in the same church. We literally grew up together. Like we were like maybe 8 years old when we met. So we've known each other literally over 3 decades. Our whole entire lives we have known each other, and we have been friends throughout that. Yes, things have happened and changed, but guess what? We have stayed friends, and I am thankful for that and grateful for that. And I am so excited and I'm so glad to have her joining us today, because she will be discussing with us her journey with cancer and as well her music career, because my friend is single, y'all. So so we'll be discussing all that. And as you know, always nothing is off limits. Always we become real, raw, and uncut. Always we're going to leave you with something to ponder and think about, and something that will hopefully open your eyes. And definitely when it comes to your healthcare, especially after me going through cancer and learning a lot that I've learned. And she was one of the people that was really, really helpful to me during my journey. I would not have really gotten the healthcare that I got if it wasn't because of her, because she told me about the place that I ended up going to, because she had been there and she talked volumes about them, and she really, really recommended them to me. So I went and checked them out, and I love them just as much as she does, if not maybe more. So I thank God for that.
I don't think so.
Them my people, friends. So I thank God for her. I hate that she had to go through the situation. Like I hate that I had to go through it. But if it was to help me or anybody else, I am thankful and grateful. And that's why I make sure I share my story with people as well. Because guess what? It's a lot of things we don't know until somebody opens their mouth and tell us. And she was so transparent with her journey with me, and about things that happen behind the closed doors that people won't never think about. So I definitely wanted to have her on to give you guys some other insight other than just hearing of me. I wanted other people to come and talk about their journey as well, because everyone's journey isn't the same. So I am definitely proud of her. She has made amazing strides. Some of the things that you would think that would take her out have not, and she keeps it pushing. She encourages me all the time, because baby be doing all kind of stuff, and I'm like, friend, how are you doing that? Because I'm over here trying to figure out how I can get out of the bed. You over here singing and things and doing all kind of stuff. But anywho, because like I always do, I talk too much. So anywho, I want to welcome the Monique Denise. Hi, Songstress.
Hi, that was okay. I mean, a lengthy introduction, but I mean, I love you.
All right, friend. I know I said a lot, which I always do, especially when I really, really know people, but tell the people about yourself.
So, yes, I am a fighter / survivor. The first time I was diagnosed was in 2017 with stage 3 breast cancer. It's so funny when I tell my story, and I'll tell it, as quick as possible. But in 2017, I was still married, had just separated from my ex, and everything was piling on me at the same time. My job was going crazy. I had just separated from my ex-husband. My car had broke down. Somebody had took all of the money out of my bank account. It was just like one thing after another. And I had been walking around with a pain in my breast. And I would ignore it because it would come, and then I would, just kind of cuff my breast and then keep it moving because it would go away. And at the same time, I was breastfeeding my baby girl. But I noticed my breast stopped producing milk. And I went to the doctor and she was like, oh, your milk ducts are swollen. I kept it moving. So a friend of mine urged me, you need to go, you need to go. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. So I went on like a Thursday, I think it was. I went to another primary physician because I was like, I don't feel comfortable with what she said. Same practice. When I went, she fell, we're talking, and I could see the change in her demeanor when she started doing my breast examination. But she kept talking, she kept it cool. And she was like, okay, have you ever had a mammogram before? And I was like, no. So she was like, well, how old are you? I was like, I'm 35. And she was like, okay, it's about time for you to go. And I'm like, okay, I'll go. She wanted me to go the same day, but they didn't have any appointments to get me in. So they sent me Friday morning. So when I went Friday morning, I went and got my exam. Then they wanted me right away to do an ultrasound. Did the ultrasound. Then they wanted me to come back Monday, first thing, to do a biopsy. So all of this happened over the course of like 3 days. So I'm sitting here and I'm nervous, but then again, I'm not nervous because at this point, I'm like, you don't think that you can have it. So you're like, something's wrong, but you're like, okay, it can't be that. Can't possibly be that. So Wednesday, my primary physician, the lady who I had just met, but was amazing, I love her, calls me and I'm at work and she was like, have you heard anything back from your test results? And I was like, no. And she was like, okay. She said, well, and she told me, she was like, you do have breast cancer. And when I tell you, I think throughout this journey, that's probably the day I cried the hardest and the most. I screamed, I hollered, I was on the floor up under my desk. I was going to town. I called my mom, I called my godmom, I called my sister, I just called everybody. And then I just stopped. Everybody came running to my job, of course, too. But then I just stopped and I realized, you know what, Monique? I know it's hard, but we're here now. We're here now. And the way you handle this will determine how everybody else around you is going to handle this. And then I went walking down the street, and I was walking down the street from where I used to work. There's like a wooded area. And I'm walking, and when I walked outside, it wasn't raining. I promise you it was not raining. So I'm walking, I'm up under the tree now, like a canopy of trees. And I'm walking, and I look out in the distance, and it's raining. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel no rain. I got a little drop, but it's storming. At that moment, it's like God put in my head and told me that I'm only going to let what I know you can handle come through and touch you. And I was like, it gave me a peace because like I said, everything that I was going through, it was hard. But then after that, so I went through stage 3, went in remission in 2018. And at that point, my whole mindset, my whole lifestyle, my whole drive just changed. It was like now or never. And that's my motto. That's what I live by. Now or never. Living life to the fullest. All of that. That's who I am. So that's when I really, really started chasing after. I was already singing. I had already started trying to, tiptoe into this professional music thing. So then after that, I really started singing. I started getting regular gigs. I started performing regularly every Thursday at Celestia's. Then I moved to performing regularly at Jazzy's. I went to the Apollo, in 2019, twice. I started working with PRI. I started doing all kinds of things that, to me, I only dreamed of doing. Now, I've always wanted to sing since I was a little girl. So then 2020 came and it was just a mess for everybody. COVID, everything. Jobs. I also lost my job at that point because of COVID. And then it was like, okay, they bring me back. What else could possibly happen to make 2020 worse? Well, I went to the doctor. No, actually, I didn't go to the doctor. I started having back pains, horrible back pains. Like I couldn't lift up my purse. It got so bad. then deemed everything was horrible. So the day we had our video shoot, we did a cover video of If You Let Me. I pressed through. I'm in pain. I mean, I'm literally in pain and tears. But I did the video, pressed through, did everything. After the video, I didn't tell anybody. I took myself to Care 5. Care 5 was like, well, there's nothing we can do for you. You need to go to the emergency room. When I pulled up to the emergency room, at that point, I couldn't even get out the car. I don't know how I made it. I don't even know how I was driving. But I got out of the car and just kind of like fell. And fortunately, there were two workers in the parking lot. And they ran over to help me. They got a wheelchair and brought me in. So they took me straight back. They did some CT scans, different scans and everything. And then the doctor came back and he was like, I just need to talk to you. I said, well, hold on, let me call my mom. He said, no, I want to talk to you first. And he told me. I screamed again. I was like, at that point, that was one of those moments where you like, God, what did I do? What am I doing wrong? Why is everything happening to me? I can't get a break. Can't get a break. And so I'm just crying, and the doctor and the nurse, they're trying to console me. And I'm just, oh my God. But I literally could not move. So call my mom. Well, he told me to wait. He wanted me to get a minute. Then he came back. We called my mom, of course. That just sent my mom left. Okay. And you know my mama.
Yeah. Yo, Lolo. Good old Lolo.
So because she asked me when I got there, did I want her to come? And I was like, no, I'll be fine. I'm just make sure, because my kids were at the house. Mm-hmm. Just make sure the kids get taken care of. They get something to eat. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. So she came flying up there. We done hollered, we done screamed. So they admitted me to the hospital, stayed for about 3 days or so. And this is the point where people couldn't come see you. So I'm in the hospital by myself.
Yeah.
And they're putting me on all kind of meds, Tramadol, Percocet, oxycodone, hydrocodone, everything. Nothing is really managing the pain. Nothing. They put semen in my back to try to keep one of them from collapsing. They were able to do it on one, but they couldn't do it on the other two. So I got out of the hospital. Then, I'm on this whole Percocet. I don't like those medicines. But, some people will pay good money for those medicines.
They will. Not
so I tried to take them as little as possible.
Yeah.
I took the medicine, and then I came home, and then the kids were here. We were all here, and I was fine. And then all of a sudden, it locked up again, and I could not move. I'm on the couch like this. I could not move. It was a very uncomfortable position. We had to call the ambulance to come and get me. And when they came, it was about 4 or 5 of them. They each had to grab a different part of my body and literally, like, very slowly and carefully, because I was screaming. It was, I don't even know. Like, I still endure the pain now. The pain isn't going anywhere. I still have the 3 fractured ribs. I still have 3 areas in my back and my vertebrae that are crushed. So I went to the hospital, another, vacation, stayed for about 3 days, came home. So I started radiation. I started, finished radiation, started chemo. So now I do chemo. I do a chemo pill daily. And then I also go once a month, monthly, for my chemo injection. So I get 3 injections, and they are by far the worst. That I thought what I had before. So my chemo before was called the Red Devil. And they said that's the most aggressive form of chemo. And I'm like, okay, well, anything in there should be gone by now, right?
Yeah.
But no, it came back. So I get 3 injections, and yeah, they're ugly, but the pain is still there. So since I didn't like the Percocet hydrocodone, I went the natural way. I do have a medical marijuana card because I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were telling me about it, but I was like, I don't smoke. I don't do all of that.
Yeah.
But there's a documentary that I started looking at. It is called Weed the People. So WEED, Weed the People. That documentary talks about and gives you the research and the information that shows that marijuana was a normal thing that people used back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why certain things you didn't hear about, you didn't know about, they didn't have those problems. That was a natural remedy for things. And so the documentary follows a few kids and babies and shows how some of them, their cancer just went away.
And where can you find the documentary?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, really? I don't think that popped up on my thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. And there's a few other ones that I just started watching everything. But it's a good one. And there's a segment in there where they talk about there is a direct correlation between weed, marijuana, and breast cancer. That it can, in fact, cure it. So I have a card. So I take tincture oils. And when I tell you, they do work. They take the pain away. But unfortunately, there are side effects of just being high. You know, I swear. Serious. My mama called me and she say, "You high, ain't you?" Yeah. So I do, but I would rather be high.
I was just gonna say the not have what you have to have, you know. Hey, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, yes, I'm high, but I mean, me and you, we can talk all day. I can function for the most part, but I'm high.
Yeah.
Just don't put me in front of a computer. Don't make me think. Like, if I have to think about something, that's why I understand how people went to school and smoked with again.
Listen, and they be going to work and everything. I be like, I don't understand. No, but hey, some people have a higher tolerance for stuff.
You're right, but
I don't.
No. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna be goofy.
Listen.
And I can talk to you, and if you don't know, you won't know per se that I'm high.
Right.
But if you know me and if you around me long enough, you'll figure it out, though. But I mean, I tried. So I started that, and I'll say it has helped. It does help with my appetite because a lot of times I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I just don't want to do anything. Yeah. My energy is low.
Yeah.
But when people see me, like I tell people all the time, you can't judge a person based on how they look.
Cannot.
You cannot, because you never know.
Woo, Jesus.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
You really don't.
A strong person. You never know what they're carrying around.
You don't.
They be carrying around the weight of the world. Like right now, so I recently lost my job due to my health. So now I'm not working, waiting on disability. They approved me, but then they told me you won't get your first payment till November. So I'm like, well, you want to tell me how I'm supposed to live for the next couple of months? But again, he's smiling, and I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to pay bills, how to do this, how to do that. But I just, I know God will come through. It's what I'm believing. That's what I'm trusting. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I even tried to stop taking my oils and the regimen that the doctors put me on for the medical marijuana. And I almost ended up back in the hospital because I stopped doing it because I wanted to work. I wanted to be functional.
Yeah.
And so I almost ended up back in the emergency room one day, woke up and I was like, so I have to do it.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's a lot. Now I didn't make it to where I had to use the marijuana, but baby, listen, my people that surround me that do, they was ready. They was like, oh, we finna get you this, we finna get you that, we finna make sure because we don't want you going through all that. And I said, well, if I have to, I will, but I never got that bad to where I would have to need it. But I definitely was open to doing it eventually if I had to, because it's a lot, man. And if you need to do whatever you got to do to get rid of the sickness and the pain of it all, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Like,
I don't care how you look at me and what you
listen,
say.
listen, because I was one of those people, like I won't even touch the stuff. I don't even like people to be around me with the stuff. So
Yeah.
I definitely was like, oh no, unless it come down to life or death, I'm definitely not gonna do that. And it came down to life or death. So it was like, okay, what you gonna do? Like, if I know that, it was like, so what you gonna do? What's happening? I said, I'm gonna see if the stuff that they're doing now is not gonna work, then we'll go that route. But if I don't have to go that route, then I won't. But if I need to trust and understand, I will. I will go
And
that right, because it's a lot, like you say, it's so much. And like you say, people can't, do not judge a book by, I mean, we can't stress that enough. Do not judge a book by its cover, because people would never know. Like, until I tell people that I went through cancer, they would never know, because I don't look like it. I don't look like what cancer is supposed to look like. What we've known people to like with, how their body is affected and stuff like that. Like, and you've endured it longer than me, and you definitely have not. And we talk about it all the time, and it, like, me and Tiff, one of my best our friends that we grew up with, Tiffany, we talk about it all the time, girl. She'll remind me every time I would like have these moments and stuff. She's like, but look at Monique. And I be like, yeah, no, friend, but still. She was like, but look at Monique out here doing. I said,
people like that. That's Monique. That ain't me.
that's what I'm saying. Like, girl, I don't care. I be like, that's not me, girl. God said, because I don't know. And I would tell people all the time, like, I just don't know. I don't know how she doing it. And it's a couple of other people that we know too that legit, if you look at them, you would never know. And they doing all kinds of stuff. And I be like all the time. I said, I even asked you, I said, friend, I just don't understand, because I can't even get out this bed. And you talking about you out here on people's stages and things. What? Friend, I just don't know. It's just not in me. I don't have that. And I just would tell people, I was like, but it always was a point of reference for us, with people like you, because it was just like, she out here, she not letting this thing hold her back. She's not letting this thing stop her. She's not doing the woe is me type stuff or whatever, and on top of that, being a single parent.
Yeah.
I thank God that I had my husband and all that kind of stuff, and my kids are older than your children too. So
Yeah.
I thank God for that. My kids didn't have to watch me, really be sick and stuff like that, because they're all off to school. And my youngest, I sent him to go with his dad and stuff like that. So they didn't get to see. So it's just a lot of weight. Like you say, stuff keep hitting you, and you trying to be this mother, and you trying to be just a woman, and then you're trying to work. I had to leave my job as well, because I got too sick to work. So I had to leave my job, but again, thank God I had a husband at work. Everybody's story isn't like that, like yours, so you have to lean on this faith that you never had. Listen, I tell people all the time, we grew up in the church. We grew up in a good church. They preach the word for real. We grew up in a good church. Listen, understand? Because Pastor Callahan did not play. Understand?
They bothered us how long we stayed in church, but guess what? That was some good church.
It was some good church, and we was all friends and stuff. So we was together in church and stuff. So we had good church. And I was like, I now see what people say when they say, I'm not talking about the God that my mama know or the God that my grandma know. I'm talking about the God that I know. Because yes, we grew up in church, but there are some things that you go through that shows you a different level of God. Like it shows you this different level of faith. And I had to encounter God in a different way now that I was dealing with it, because at the end of the day, yes, I love God. I believe in God. I trust God. I have faith in God. But you talking about my life now. You're talking about something that I can't control. I can't do anything about this. Like, I can only trust you and the doctors. That's it. And in the end, ultimately you, because the doctors don't always know everything, and the doctors are not in control. So ultimately, I have to trust you with my life for real, for real.
Exactly.
Like for real, for real. So when the other stuff starts piling on top, it's just like, now God, I had the same conversation with him. I said, now God, whatever I did, because I don't understand, because there's some people out here, they're living some real trash lives for real. So I'm just not understanding when I'm out here and I'm trying to help your people and I'm trying to be a good person.
Yes.
Like, why? I was so mad with God for a while. I was just so mad. And I was just like, because this is stupid. This is stupid. Like, this is dumb. I just really don't understand. I'm really not with it. And also, like I said, to see other people like you and other people and my dear friend who passed away, Tiffany Ortiz, from it,
Yes.
to watch you guys go. I'm just like, we don't deserve this. Like, I'm not understanding.
It's one of them things where you say, wow, everything always happens to the good people.
And that's what people always say when stuff happens. They say, well, the good people, they can't be in this world no more. They can't, because they good people. It's us other ones who not good. They got to be here and still learn some lessons. I said, well, can I not learn?
Sometimes, when you go through, you be like, God, I got a whole list of people over here that it would work.
Whole list of people. Whole list. I don't understand. You cross over them to come to me? I don't understand.
Yeah. But
so I mean, so tough.
It's like the main thing that got me through was when I got sick. My doctor told me, he said, it's not cancer that kills people.
Yeah.
He said it's their attitude towards it.
Yeah.
And from that moment, like I said, mind you, the first time I got diagnosed like 2 weeks after me and my ex separated. So I was going through that, a divorce, struggling with everything else. And like I also learned real quick that when you go through stuff like that, it's not the people that you think are going to be there for you. It's the people that you at least expect that are actually there for you.
Say that again, because people don't listen. Say that again, because I don't think people understand.
It is not.
It's not
who you think will be there. It's the ones that you don't even expect that come out of the blue. Because I'm just sitting here like, okay, I got this, but they gonna count me this person gonna do this, but I'm looking and I don't see none of them. And then when the random stranger asking, when you so humble and you kind, you're like, oh, I'm good, because you don't want to be a complainer.
Right.
Like, I'm good. And then some of them still show up and you like, okay.
Friend.
And it humbles you. It makes you,
yes.
It makes you just be willing to just, you don't know where the help is coming from, but you got to trust and know that God will put people in your life for a reason, for the season, for the moment, whatever it may be. But ultimately, like you say, you do have to just trust God. Mm-hmm. Like the first time, I promise you, after that first day of crying, I did that one real easy. Now, at that point, I did have the look of a cancer person. My hair fell out, everything fell out, and I bald head, I was weak, brittle. So I kind of had the look. This go around, I don't have the look, thank God. But I'm gonna tell you, that time was so easy. Like it was like the peace of God. Everything that I had going on, I had a subtle peace. Everybody was like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, but God, I'm gonna be all right. I already know it. Yeah. And it was my kids that kept me fighting. Because I was like, I have 3 kids. I gotta be here for my babies.
Yep.
And I mean, so I had to push through. This time, I ain't gonna lie, it's different. I don't, like you say, I don't have to look. My hair is pretty thin, but it ain't fall out. It's just, I don't know. It's not, I don't even want to say it's not as bad, because it is bad, especially when they say it's not going away and this is basically my new life. Yeah. People always say, well, how you get up on that stage? Getting up on that stage to me is the one thing that I feel makes me feel like I'm still normal. Yeah. It's the one thing that makes me happy. It's like when I got diagnosed this time and the world kind of opened back up where we could start doing music, everybody around me was like, no, Monique, you can't do it. And I'm like, don't tell me what I can't do. I can't do it. And if you take that away from me, I'm not going to say you're taking my reason to live away, but you're taking part of me and life away from me. Yeah. So like, what else do I have if you take that from me? So singing, doing what I do, it's just, it makes life a little bit easier. But like I say, it's everything you do and everything you go through in life is all about your attitude. Even in relationships, even in
Yep.
work, things could be so much easier if you
Yep.
just fix your look, your
Yeah.
outlook, your view towards it. And
Yep.
then it won't be so hard. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard because, like I say, y'all see me smile all the time. Anybody see me, I'm smiling or, I'm cool. But I tell you, 90% of the time you see me, I'm in pain. I'm
Yeah.
just not going to show you that. You will
Yeah.
never know unless you know me and you know my body language. When I'm performing, I'm in pain, but I do it because it makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you, man. And that whole changing your attitude type stuff that went through my mind when I first was diagnosed and stuff like that. But I kind
Mm-hmm.
of didn't care. I really
I
didn't at
know,
first. At first, I was like, I know they say your attitude need to be better and stuff, but I really don't care right now. Like, I'm so mad. That's how mad I was. I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care enough to have a good attitude. Like, how do you have a good attitude with this?
Mm-hmm.
And when I would go to my doctor's appointments and stuff, the doctors and the nurses, they were like, you just really, you're not feeling it. I said, no, I'm not. And I'm not okay. And I don't want to be here. Like, because this is stupid. Like, one of my nurses literally prayed with me because she was like, you just really are, I can see it in your eyes. Like, you literally look like you just really not feeling it. You really don't want to go through this and all this. And I was like, no, I don't. Because I really don't understand. And somebody needs to explain this to me other than I just got to do some treatment. No, because I
That
don't
don't
get
make
why
no
I
sense.
got it in the first place.
And see, I'm not gonna say I haven't been there. Because the crazy part about it is before I got diagnosed the second time, I had just told him at the doctor's office, I was like, I love y'all, but I'm tired of seeing y'all. And so I'm canceling all my appointments. Y'all say I'm good. I'm not coming back to see y'all. And lo and behold, look, now I got to spend the rest of my life with him. And I do the same thing. I talk to my mom, even at the doctor's office. I have my moments where I break down in there with them. Even now, I get an anxiety when I walk in the building. I'm just like,
Yeah.
being here. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be here. I
Yeah.
cry. I tell my mom, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't
Yeah.
want to do it anymore. I
Yeah.
hate needles. So, I hate needles. So it's like constant pricks, constant medication, constant
Yeah.
not feeling good, constant something. So I have my days. I get tired. I say
Yeah.
I'm done. And then everybody around me tell me, okay, what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna have that answer. We're not gonna
That is
stop
the
going to chemo.
same thing. Everybody would
So
say to me the same thing. I'm like, so we're not gonna do that. And I try to get them to see. I get what y'all
yeah,
saying. I get it because because I was on the outside looking in too at one point. So I
yeah.
get it. You telling somebody, hey, that ain't the option. Don't look at it like that. But it's so different when you're going through it. It's so
Mm-hmm.
different for you would think you would want to save your life. You would think you want to do anything to save your life, but it's kind of like at this point, do I want to live my life in
Mm-hmm.
pain and sickness? Like, you really
Exactly.
get to that point, it's like, do I really want to live like this? Do I really want to go through this? Do I really want to keep having to come here to see these doctors and all this other kind of stuff, people poking and prodding at me? Like, do I really want to do that? And like you said
Exactly.
earlier, we had to think about our children, and think about our
Mm-hmm.
family. I really, because I was, I had a moment I had to say, if I can save my life, I need to do that so my kids and my family don't have to suffer for no reason. Because I know
Exactly.
some people that have had options, but they chose not to choose. They chose not to go with treatment or surgery or whatever, and now they're gone. And now we
Mm-hmm.
had to sit back and suffer because they made a choice. And
Mm-hmm.
it's their right to make that choice. But at the end of the day, if you can save your life and people don't have to go through grief and heartache because you're not here anymore, then do what you got to do to save your life. So, I ultimately, made that decision, went through it or whatever. And it's just, but like I tell people, it's so different when you have to go through it. It's so different. It's a different
It is.
outlook.
It
It's,
is.
it's like, and
I
like
tell
you
people
said,
all I
yeah,
tell people all the time trying to give me advice. Like most of my
yeah,
advice comes from like really close friends or my
yeah,
mom because nobody ever sees my down moments.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the ones who are around me trying to give me these motivational speeches, and I'm looking at them like, that
listen,
sounds good. That
listen,
sounds good. But
friend, that
you
was
just
my
don't get it. You don't get it.
you
I
don't
didn't just
get it.
stub my toe and it's gonna heal in, you know, a week or two. No, I gotta deal with this for the rest of my life.
It's not right. This is so different. I tell people this is not, you know, I'm not believing in God to pay my bills. I'm not believing in God to get me over some minor sickness or whatever, you know, get me out of a situation. I'm believing God for my life. This is my life. Like, this is so different. So all that y'all talking about, man, I didn't answer my phone for a lot of people. I didn't talk to a lot of people because I was just like, I don't want to hear that right now. Like, I don't want to hear all that. Yes, I know God is good and I know he come through and all that kind of stuff, but I don't want to hear all that right now. I'm good.
But I'm going to tell you on the reverse side, we're talking about the people who were trying to, in their own way, they had good intentions, were trying to lift us up.
Right.
But the sad part about it is you have some people who use this moment in our lives to attack us. Do you know how many people I had? Because like I said, everything that I was going through, I had people come to me and say, you know what? God made that happen to you because you left your husband. God made that happen to you because you're not a good person. God made that happen to you because you need to get your life together. You don't know my life. You don't know what I do. I'm a strong believer all day. I pray. I'm like you say, we was raised in the church.
Right.
So I got God in me.
Right.
I'm rooted and everything, okay? Right. I'm a human, so I make mistakes, but I know God, and you don't know what went on in my house. But it was a lot of people attacking me. And I was like, I didn't need no spirits around me. Right. So like you say, I shut Facebook down. Mm-hmm. I stopped answering my phone. I gave my phone to some of my friends. I say, look, you handle that. Because I can't deal with that right now. Yeah. I got to stay, like the doctor said, your attitude, negativity, you know what I'm saying? Stress. So you still have to keep all of that going. And people don't even understand, even after, like in your case, you're in remission. Amazing. I'm so proud of you. But you're in remission, but your life is still different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything is still different. Yeah. There's a lot of still aftermath after going through stuff like this. So
listen. That's why I had to have other people talk about this too that have been through it, because that's what I tell people all the time. I say, yes, I have, if the cancer is gone or whatever, but do you not understand the effect that it has had on my body and my mind? It is so different now. Like, I have to look at my life, and we're still young, and we have to conduct our lives in a certain way to stay healthy and to stay in good condition because of the effects that the treatment does and all that type of stuff, what happens to your body. So now you still have to do things as if you're still having a sickness, because then too, and then you have to, like you say, keep going, because they have to make sure that it doesn't come back or get worse than what it is and stuff like that. So you're going to really be going through this for the rest of your life, and people are excited about you being healed and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that is amazing. That is great. But honey, the stuff that you have to deal with in the aftermath, listen to me. And I think the biggest thing for me that has changed is my mental, especially when it comes to people and things. Like, I legit am not with the foolery. Like, I'm legit, like, I went with it before, but I'm really not.
You just like, look, like, you know me, I'm not like you. I've always admired you for that. I'm like, I wish I was like Toya and my sister. Y'all put people in their place real quick. Like,
listen,
I wish I could do that. But I'm gonna tell you, I done got much better now, because I'm like, I ain't got time to wait.
You do that.
If you don't understand, I don't have time to waste. So if you can wait time, let's keep it moving, because I ain't got time for it. I don't. I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't. And like you say,
I don't even care if I am being rude at this point.
See?
Because I can't.
All the way there. I'm still ain't there yet. I'm still trying to get there. But somebody was saying to me the other day, because I used to be able to learn, I could hear a song and I would know that song in 5 minutes. I can't do that anymore. I used to know a song. I used to be able to remember it and everything. So like when I perform, I always have my tablet because I can't remember stuff. And that's come from, it's called chemo brain.
Wow.
All that stuff that they pushing you. And when I was talking to the doctors, they say that is real. Like it's a lot of stuff I don't remember. I just be sitting there and I'm like, but I mean, it's real. People don't get it. It's so real. Like I have chemo brain. Like it's hard, and I be feeling so bad. And like you said, we so young. I'm like, I ain't supposed to be getting this stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining the Complete Woman podcast. I pray this was life-changing and that it empowered you. Connect with me on Instagram and Facebook, Latoya Shante Kite. If you will want to hear a certain topic or you would like to be a guest, email us at thecompletewoman19@gmail.com. Also, subscribe to the podcast on all podcast platforms, also on YouTube. Let's chat soon.